Hello my dear YouTuber friends, and I do hope you're all keeping well. Welcome to this new video. This is a review of the Focke-Wulf FW200 Condor. It's Local Legend 19 and it costs, you can get it for both Xbox and PC, the standard edition. It cost me about £12.50. If you got the premium Microsoft Flight Sim, you can get it a bit cheaper. It's an old-fashioned airliner. For its day, it was the most modern airliner, most luxurious. It's actually a wonderful flight model, and it holds a few surprises. And as you'll see, I'm going to give you a review and overview in this video, but as you'll see, you're getting a whole lot for your money here, especially at this low cost. Well, I tell you what, let's not dilly-dally. Let's get on with this video. Okay, so I'm set up at Frankfurt Main Airport here, just outside Frankfurt. Give you a quick view of the external modelling. I mean, you know, for a cheapish aircraft, there's no qualms about that external modelling. Look at it. I've got the metallic livery there. I'll show you the liveries you get on screen. You get a few of them. So there we go. We can take it off screen now and continue a tour of the external modelling. Yeah, you know, no, it's not absolutely high-end, but I don't know. From what I'm seeing there, it's as good as many other payware aircraft that are more expensive. And I really like that metallic livery, that sort of shiny, reflective metallic livery there. And it does... For all intents and purposes, it looks like an expensive luxury airliner, doesn't it? Externally. So there you go. That's what the external modelling looks like if you're into that type of thing. I mean, it's always nice to see detailed external models, let's face it. And there's no difference with that one. Okay, zoom out a bit more in preparation and get in a cockpit. Cockpit is nice and old looking. Now, one thing I will say, I'm going to point you to a place where Aselbo have put a lot of the Local Legends manuals, and you can go and read the manual. So whatever you own, this on Xbox or PC, I'll put the link down in the description. Go and read the manual for this. You're going to kind of need it. There's a lot to this aircraft. So there we go. Let's just give you a quick overview. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can play with here, fuel dumps and goodness knows what, and the manual will explain the majority of that. Switches, if we zoom in to these controls, you can see a lot of them are in German, so yeah, you're going to have to really refer to that manual, I would suggest. Now, what I've done, let me put myself, I've set up a couple of views. I've got a view that comes down here so I can see these instruments, and I've got a view that comes down here so I can see my autopilot panel as well. That's how you turn the autopilot on. You got things like GPS, nav mode, heading mode, altitude hold. Essentially, I've got my multi-panel. You should have buttons by now, or bindings to move your heading bug. So I'm using my multi-panel, as you can see. So if I'm in heading mode, I can move my heading mode knob to control my heading mode. Yeah, there's quite a lot to this aircraft. Come back up, just come back down to that view. I'll quickly go over these for you. That's your vertical speed indicator. It's a bit different to other aircraft. That's your airspeed, your main airspeed indicator in kilometers per hour. As you can see, this can easily reach 400. Remember, it's an airliner, so it's going to go pretty fast. 400 kilometers per hour. Your altitude indicator, this is different. This will go up this way, and this will change to, this is in kilometers, thousands of kilometers. So that when that goes to 1, that'll be 1,000 kilometers above sea level, that type of thing. Press my B key to make sure that's correct. It is now. So that will go up that way. And yet there's all kind of instruments. Refer to the manual for the rest of them. A lot of these, as you can see there, lots of switches that all seem to be working just absolutely fine. Goodness me. There's all kinds of things. Mixtures, your throttles, fuel selector. Not bad for an aircraft of this cost, is it? Anyway, let's just come back up here, give you a view of the cockpit itself. Looks very old and period appropriate, doesn't it? Keep in mind this is created by the same chap who did the Junkers, and the flight model, as I'll show you in a moment, is very similar to the Junkers. Has a very similar feel for me. I'll just come this way, just use my keyboard for now. Just come through this door, thank you, and turn around with my mouse. There you go, radial transponder, so radial sorts of panels there, which is very authentic to the real thing apparently. Does look very old, doesn't it? Come through this door, cockpit door. Oh, open it that way, never mind, I'm going to go through it anyway. And there we go, you get quite a nice looking passenger cabin here, look at it. With all suitcases, it's nice to see some of these details, and the chairs look very looks like kind of the Orient Express, doesn't it? Very nice. Just come along down here. Can we get through this one as well? Let's actually try this. Oh, we can. Might need to come that way. What is through here? Ah, that'll be cargo. Look, for the cost of the aircraft, I do like these little additions. If you like this type of thing, are those newspapers? Yep, they are. Can we mess with them? What a shame we can't. But you know, you got to temper your expectations of what's usable and what's not in this cabin part. Oh, look at that! You can set up a view. Can we bring it down a bit? Can we get this? Set up a custom view so you're looking out the window over the... Oh, look at that. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. So there you go. That's the view of the external and internal modelling. You get quite a lot for the price there. Let's go for a quick fly. Okay, so let's do this. Let's throttle up. Release the parking brake. Remember, it's a tail dragger, so it will come forward of its back tail, but it's not tricky to control this on the ground whatsoever. And I found it's not that difficult to land. You just got to remember your landing gear is quite high on this. So we'll get up to speed. There you go. Comes forward, having no issues controlling it whatsoever, so quite easy to fly. Just carry on going forward, and any moment now we can pull back and take off and raise our gear. We can watch that. Nice. I'm going to bring the flaps up, and I'm just going to trim up. Remember, this is your vertical speed indicator, so keep an eye on that. You can bring your view forward, set up a default view for that. I'm just going to control it, fly it manually for now. Now, like I said, it does behave somewhat like the Junkers aircraft in its sort of flight. It's made by the same designer, so you got to expect that. But it's a big, lumbering, kind of trucking feel to it in the air. And we'll just fly around downtown Frankfurt. Of course, this is World Update 18. Very easy to control. You can even control, so there's the vertical speed. I want to get it down to neutral level vertical speed. You can do that with your yoke or flight stick. I'm just pushing forward a little bit and it reacts nicely. Does take a while. Just going to trim down a little bit to get it into neutral. Bring my throttle back. I don't need to. I'm only going for a fly around the local area. You can get up to speed. Look, I'm getting near towards 400 kilometers per hour there. Get up to speed so you can easily do overseas flights or long travels in this one. It's an airliner, so it's meant to do that. So if you want to go for a long flight, which, if enough people get this, we'll include this aircraft in one of our around the world flights. Need to get that going again, we will, people. I'm very eager to get that up and running again very soon and do a few more legs. There you go. very easy to control, just doing it all manually. Tell you what, let's do some autopilot shenanigans. I'll do it via this. So switch on autopilot, and switch on heading mode, and switch on altitude hold. Come back up. Now, is it going to hold my altitude? Let's just see what this does. So I'm in altitude, hold there. Might have to increase it. I've not done anything with my altitude on my multi-panel, so there we go. I've just set it to 1200 feet. Now it's levelling out at 1200. Using my multi-panel just to move my heading knob, so I'm moving to the left now. And it works. So if you've got any buttons or bindings set up for heading mode, typically where you'll be moving your heading bug, you can do it via that, which I'm doing. I've got a readout on my multi-panel, just heading north now, according to that. And there you go, and the autopilot works. And of course, I'll have to come back to things like navigation modes and how to set it up. I suppose if you've got a route set up, it may follow it. It does have nav mode, GPS mode capabilities. Yeah. And refer to the manual for all that kind of things. I'm just giving you a quick overview, but certainly the autopilot panel seems to work with no issues. I'm going to take autopilot off. I do like to fly this manually, so I'm back now using manual control. I'm just keeping an eye on my vertical speed indicator, trying to keep that level while I'm turning. And I'm having no issues doing that. You do have to give it a wide turn as you're turning. Just looking now for the airport, which is yonder. What I'll do, people, is actually come back and bring her in for a landing. Okay, my friends, so the runway's just yonder there, Frankfurt, Maine. I'll pick one of them, choose one of them, and bring her in for landing. Now, I've got my throttle, what, 45%, maybe even 40%. You can see the speed's not slowing that much. I'm going to bring it down again, just make sure that I'm in, well, I'm in positive rate of climb at the moment, as I can see. But that will come down. I'm just going to use my yoke, in this case, just to hold her about level. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put one stage of flaps in now. And I'm just going to pop my gear down, and that'll slow me down enough. Speeds, of course, refer to the manual for safe speeds on doing that. I'm just doing this for demonstration. And there we go. I'm going to have to trim up a little bit because it's vertical speed indicator's gone way down, but I can even use my yoke just to hold that and bring her in for a nice glide path towards that runway. Well, let's go for the left one here. No problem at all. Frankfurt looking beautiful with the world update, I've got to say. Live weather, which also looks nice in Germany. It's a bit cloudy over there today. Well, it's a bit cloudy here as well. There's a few clouds in the sky in the southeast of England, so quite similar climates apparently at the moment. Although it looks like there might be rain ahead for you there, Frankfurt, at the time of recording this. Well, there we go. I'll just bring her in. Nice and easy. I'm doing this all manually. And it's one of the things I most like about this aircraft. Even though it's an airliner, you can control this as well as you could the Junkers aircraft. Hold her in sort of... There you go. Just bring me... Pull back on my yoke a little bit. Hold her in sort of neutral trims so you're not descending or climbing or near enough. I do want a slight descent towards that runway. And it's absolutely no issues. It flies like a dream, I've got to say. Now I've got my gear down, just making sure. And left runway, you can see the lights of the runway, so it's not an issue. Just line up nicely with it. Oh, yeah. Very nicely controlled. Now you've got to remember the landing gear is quite high on this, your front gear, so when you come down to land, especially if you're used to flying other aircraft with lower landing gears, just keep it in mind. But it's not difficult to land at all, this, or control on, you know, in terms of takeoff and landing. It's quite easy to control. Coming in, let's put another notch of flaps in there just to slow me down. There we go. See the flaps coming out. Bit of a flare there. Now you can hear the engines quiet. What's that, worry about 100 kilometers an hour? No, 200. So we can bring that down a little bit further. I've got my throttle now, maybe 30% or so. Absolutely no issues. Now you don't want to go, obviously remember it's an airliner, it's a big aircraft, so I wouldn't go under. Refer to the manual again, maybe 150. But I'm still 200 there, so it's not an issue. About here I found the speed here is quite good, maybe a bit slower coming in now. There we go, bring that throttle down, 25%, 20% or so. Just using my yoke to hold it above the runway lights there till we get on to those numbers of the runway, the threshold of the runway itself. Remember that high landing gear. There you go. Slow her down, let her come down on the runway. Oh, there you go. Told you. It's a high landing gear. Very easy to land. Very, very simple. Bring up those flaps. I can taxi off on this one, can't I? And then it'll pop on its back tail. And we can taxi on over here. Then hold for instructions for ATC if you've got it running, that type of thing. There we go, that will do. Now, when buying these local legends, I'm always unsure. I bought a few of them, I've never used them again. This one I can fully see myself using. Flying often. In fact, I want to include it on one of the world tours. I'm going to be flying this and practicing this and getting it down, getting the navigation down. Cost me around £12.50. I've got the standard edition. If you've got the premium edition of Flight Sim, you can get it a bit cheaper. For that price, this one in particular is a steal. If you enjoy the Junkers aircraft, you're going to fall in love with this. If you like airliners, you're going to fall in love with this. It's something different. Quite wonderful flight model, very easy to fly. Big recommendation, go out and get this one, people. I think you're going to fall in love with it. Well, do let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts if you have this. What do you think about it? Are you tempted to get it? I would do for that price, cheap as chips. Give the video a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe for more, and I'll be seeing you soon.